My name's Fred Pearce. I'm a British journalist and writer. I write books and journalism on environmental issues, development issues around the world, global perspective. I've been working for the last 3 years on a book on land grabbing, the new phenomenon of corporations and governments and city speculators around the world buying up bits of land which before nobody seemed to want. Suddenly land is a hot issue around the world. Amount of land pretty much the size of Western Europe, a huge amount of land has been bought and leased in the last 10 years, mostly in the last 5 years, in this effort to get into agriculture. The big investment guru George Soros says, buy land, it's one of the best investments of our time. And a lot of people have taken notice of that. There are governments who want to secure food supplies for the future, for their populations. They don't kind of trust global markets anymore. They don't really believe that they can always get food when they need it. There are agribusiness corporations. They believe that their corporate strategies, their prairie farming, ways of doing things can deliver food for the world. So they want to take over peasant farmland, cattle herding land very often. A lot of pastoral land in Africa is being taken over. And the third group are speculators, short-term investors who can kind of spot a new trend and want to get in on it. So I met a lot of people who were very angry that their land had been taken. There were no animals that they could hunt anymore. There was no honey in the forest because the bees had gone, because these new farmers had come in. Their wetlands were being drained so that there was no fish. They were losing all the resources on which they relied for their livelihoods, and they were getting nothing in return. We're talking about people who are losing their land without having consented to it. Usually it's their own governments that are handing out leases to foreign investors. Now the governments believe that that investment will bring economic development for their country, but I think too often it is bringing more, their resources are being ransacked. It's bringing poverty as much as anything else. I encountered a few examples where I thought the land grabbers were doing good things. So for instance, I went to a British-run, actually, palm oil plantation in Liberia. They were putting in the infrastructure to do this, so they were putting in roads, but they were also investing in the community. They were setting up schools. They were putting in clinics. Because if you're serious about running something like a palm oil operation, which will deliver you profits and fruit from the palm oil for 30 or 40 years, you need to invest in the community. You need to do good things. It was also talking about setting up outgrower systems. Now I'm quite keen on that, and basically that means that they have their own land and they have a processing plant, but they will also buy in fruit from farmers in the area around and process that fruit. So they're providing a market for local farmers to sell their produce. So if you do all those things, then land grabbing, so-called, can genuinely be a foreign investment in a local rural community that does good. And there are examples of that.